come in. I'm Ann with Andale Homestead.
Hello, everyone. It is Casey over at Ormsby Farms.
And Sandy from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona.
And I'm Monica with Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Thanks so much for coming in tonight, guys. We are super excited. It's Tuesday night, which means we're hanging out with you guys and we're talking about some stuff. I will say that I am super excited for Tuesdays because I get to come back, hang out with my friends. And
Me too.
Not that I don't love my Thursday nights with my husband, having some therapy. I really enjoy my Tuesdays with you guys. So thank you guys for coming in, everybody. And I'm super excited to see my friends again. And we're excited to see you. So Miss Ann, will you welcome everybody in?
I would love to. And the first person in the house tonight was Jersey Dolphins, my buddy, my pal up from Jersey. He's a cutie patootie. And of course, our one and only Jesse with Lazy Days Ahead. We all love Jesse, right? And we're going to try to do the heart thing for Valentine's. Oh, it never works when I want it to, right? Okay. Yeah, we're all trying it, but anyway, we can give you the hand hearts. And let me scroll down. We've got Sandy from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. Penny Ortiz. Hello, Penny. Jesse's girl, my Lisa from Lazy Days Ahead. Hey, darling. Lisa. Two Lisas. Well, that's a favorite name of mine. So, hi, everybody. Rambling with the Brooms. I do, Mr. Scott. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to my Cape Cod life. Howdy, folks. Betty Freeman. Hey, how you doing? Glad to see you, Betty. And that's just a few of our friends. We'll try to get down there and do those kinds of things tonight. Not for nothing, Homestead. Ginger, thank you for being here, honey. And Jackie C., good evening. Hey, U.S. Freedom 5. We're tickled to have you in here. Every time I see your name, I think about the coffee cup that you won. I just think that's the coolest thing. So, Casey, we are talking a hot item tonight.
Right.
What is it that we're going to be chatting about?
Well, we're talking about one of the big things is we're talking about how to beat the egg prices. I don't know if any of y'all have actually looked at egg prices in the store because all of us get eggs from chickens, but they're pretty ridiculous right now.
Yeah, they are.
And I just want to say I am so glad. I feel like I've been gone for like 3 years, even though it's just 1 week.
I'm telling you, we missed you last week so much.
I missed y'all, and I missed y'all in the chat. I am so glad to be back, and you can tell I'm in a different room that is going to be painted. Y'all don't fall in love with this blue because it's not staying here for long. But we were at the grocery store today because. For those that don't know, we have moved our homestead, and we were in the grocery store because we're trying to get everything together. The cheapest eggs in the grocery store. Now, this was at Publix, and those in the South know Publix is a little bougie. Was $7.47 for eggs.
Oh goodness!
And we're just talking like maybe they keep their eggs in cages, maybe they keep them in bags. We don't know how they keep their chickens. Hey, Troy. I'm going to just pop some people up there.
Yeah. Hey, Troy. And Lurker Smurf is in here. I think that's kind of cool.
Hi, Julie.
Trader Joe's.
Hey.
Hi, Cora.
Yep.
There we go. Joe Fix It for you. How do? I'm so glad you're here.
Hi,
Our treasured home, Nancy. She's all over the place, and I'm crazy about her.
So, eggs, but you think, okay, now, this happened also not too long ago when egg prices went up.
It did. Mm-hmm.
What we wanted to talk about tonight is how can you beat those egg price hikes, the craze over eggs? There was a story that people stole $7,000 worth of eggs from an egg factory.
What?
We'll see where it was. I'll pull it up before the show is ended.
They stole 3 dozen eggs, basically, is what they're saying.
Yes, pretty much.
Here's the thing, though. If you can find them in the store, that's one thing. But my shelves the other day were gone. They were bare at Walmart. No eggs.
Oh.
These shelves around here in Texas, some of these Walmarts, because I go to the Walmarts, gone. No eggs. They're just not having them.
Okay, so it was in Pennsylvania. 5 days ago, and it was a heist, and 100,000 eggs were stolen
It
out of
says
an egg factory. Yeah.
Lurker Smurf says $40,000 worth of eggs out of Pennsylvania.
Hmm?
Now, how many is that? How many? I mean, like, we said 3 dozen, but what are
They
you
said
going to do with all
100,000
those?
eggs, so I don't do math,
100,000 eggs.
but that's a lot of dozens.
Like, what kind of minivan are you carrying? Are you running around? Like, what kind of that's you know what that is? That's some homeschool mama that was like, yo, I need to get in here and
That's
get some
right.
eggs for my kids.
Oh, in Middle Tennessee, there's no eggs in their
She be
Walmart.
driving her church van that was bought from the
She
church.
obviously
She
was
got
not
4 kids
listening
now.
to Round the Hay Bale when we, at the beginning of season 5, talked about incubating eggs and water glassing eggs, because if
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. If you did those things, or if you can prep those things, there's the point of you beating this egg price gouge.
Y'all, I'm pushing the limit on the water glass. It was a year this past December, right? Was it a year?
Could be.
Or yeah, I think it was a year this past December, and I still have them. So
They're fine.
There,
They're fine.
I
Oh,
moved eggs. I moved water glass eggs in a moving truck, and
Did you?
they're
cool.
still good. Huh?
That's
Just
fantastic.
Just crack them up. And I will say though that you can take them out of the water glass, and if you're starting to get a little nervous and you're really worried about them,
I
you
can
can
kind
always
of.
take them out, rinse them off real good, and put them in a container and put them in your refrigerator. They'll keep an additional 2 weeks
Well, I thought about
at least.
doing that, but I also saw another person. Hey, Nanny Tam, how are you, honey? What they did was they took them out, washed them off because they were starting to get a little long in the tooth, and put them in like cupcake things
Mm-hmm.
and froze them
Mhm.
separately.
Yeah,
And so I was thinking I could do that. Hey, you two police
absolutely.
and Marines and Army mom. That's so awesome. Thank you for being here, everybody. I'm sorry, Ann, but I just received something. Where's that comment? From Penny. I'm sorry, Ann. I just received devastating, heartbreaking bad news about my dear friend. I need to
Oh,
say goodbye. Oh, Penny, we're going to be praying for you, honey. I'm so sorry. There's been a lot of loss this year, and we ask that the Lord will surround you and give you comfort and direction.
mhm.
And so just know that you are not alone. None. And Robin Hood Bob, my buddy Bob, he says 737 million chickens killed for their wings for Super Bowl parties.
Oh my word!
1.47 billion wings were consumed
What?
just for their wings.
Well, I'm sure they eat the rest of their meat.
Yeah, they would eat the rest of them too.
That's good that they're not wasting the wings.
True.
True.
I see that as a benefit because most people just eat the chicken breast and the thighs and all the other parts.
That's right.
At least the
Now,
wings are not going to waste.
Sandy, can you have chickens in Arizona where
No,
you are?
not in Arizona. I won't have them again until I go back up to Wyoming.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we have a brand new coop,
Oh,
new area. It's all ready for them.
Oh, they're going to be great. That's going to be great. So, Monica, you and I were speaking just a tad bit behind the scene, and it's about time for little baby chickies to arrive at the local stores.
mhm.
Yeah,
It's a good thing you said chicks because when you say little babies and you're talking to me specifically, people get weird ideas. And so we're
Yeah,
talking about chicks, little baby poultry items.
little clucks.
There's no more babies here except for grandbabies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's almost that time of year for chicks. So y'all be going into your Tractor Supply and your feed store, and you get all excited and you walk in there, you hear a little peep 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 peep.
Mhm.
It's time. My son works at a feed store. 2 of my boys work at a feed store, and both of them said, "Mom, we're getting chicks in like a week and a half." I'm like, whoop, whoop. Now,
Oh, gosh.
I'm not allowed to buy no more chicks. So it's very possible that Eric is listening in. So I'm going to be real cool about this. But this is the season, guys. So if you're going to buy chickens and baby chicks, what do you need? I mean,
Right.
That's what we need to talk about. What do you
Yes.
need? If you're going to be and you're going to get sucked into that whole chicken cuteness thing and you come out of there with a box of chicks, what do you need to have at your house to be prepared?
Right.
Besides the regular chick starter feed, right? You need chick feed, the crumbles. You
Yes.
need a waterer and a feeder,
Yes.
right? And you need a place with some bedding.
Yes.
What else do you need? Anything else you want to add to the list?
Well, what we did, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing when I bought little itty bitty cutie little fuzzy little things, and I had all my grandchildren came and picked them out, and they just held them like the whole time that they were here, and then the grandchildren left, and what do? Well, I bought a really large, like bigger than my hands, plastic bin,
Like them Rubbermaid bins?
like the Rubbermaid
Mhm.
bin. And then for the lid, I cut the inside out of the lid
Mhm.
and I put netting over top, underneath it,
Yes. Yep.
and taped it on real safe and everything. But that way, I had some bedding because we had big chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also two different kinds of beddings, y'all. There's the little, oh, hi, happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to Monica's son yesterday
And today.
and
tomorrow.
today, and happy birthday to my grandson tomorrow.
And
Um,
Joe's birthday's today.
Oh, well, birthdays all about.
It's at my birthday Saturday.
And his birthday Saturday. Casey's on
Backwards in
Saturday.
age. I'm going backwards.
Casey, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Happy birthday, honey. I didn't know that.
I'll be 22 again.
Yes, sure. Why not? Yes, connect with Round the Hay Bale, please. Not for nothing. Homestead has her link up there. Once we reach 500 subscribers on Round the Hay Bale, we're gonna have really cool giveaway.
More giveaways.
But the two different kinds of beddings, they have the little teeny and then the larger shavings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told at Tractor Supply that you get the larger ones because the little teenies are not healthy for the baby chicks. Is that right?
I mean, so some people don't like the little tiny shavings because they're afraid that the chicks will eat them.
Mhm.
Ducklings will try to pick at them. I always get the large flakes. For me, that's just what works because it's what I've always used. I have a friend of mine who is very particular and she only uses straw or hay bedding. I do not like that because you have a tendency to get splay legs when it starts to get damp.
Okay.
Their little legs kind of go whoop, and that can be really a bad thing for them. But I prefer the regular pine big flake bedding. That's all I've really used because of my experiences with other things are not that great. But just remember when you're dealing with bedding with chickens, do not ever use cedar. And that's a big thing.
Right.
The
That's good.
oils and the cedar is not a good thing. It's respiratory wise. It'll just kind of mess with them. So do not use cedar bedding because you buy cedar for your dogs maybe, but not for your chickens or your poultry. So don't do cedar, only do I'm the authority
Okay.
on flakes. Sandy, have you used the different types of beddings for yours that for your animals?
Actually, I used a lot of different things.
Do you?
I've used newspaper that I just cut up into strips. I used the wood shavings. Debbie mentioned that they use shop towels with their first couple weeks, and then they go out and clean them. I think you use what you have a lot of times, there's a lot of things I think you can use. I mean, think about it on the farm, they're running around in the dirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's a lot of things like when you get those baby chicks, a lot of people use those overhead lights, I did invest in this little thing. Is a flat platform and it's adjustable up and down and it heats it and they can just go in and out. And I used to use boxes and totes when, we had the little baby chicks, but we have a bathroom that we never use the bathtub. And so it works perfect in there.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I can just take the bedding out and clean out the bathtub when I'm done.
Yep.
And it just works good for us.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you all, everybody that's done this more times than I. there's a big controversy now about the heat lamps and the heaters, the flat heaters, the radiant heat, Grace and Fire says.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I, I have a heat lamp, so I'm probably going to use a heat lamp. But I make sure that because I raise the chickens inside the house and the kitchen, quite frankly,
Mm-hmm.
I put a chair beside it, and then I clip it to the top of the chair
Mm-hmm.
so that it's not anywhere close, can't catch anything on fire.
Right.
But what have y'all thought about that controversy between the two? People are telling me I'm going to burn my chicks up.
Here's the thing. Animals are smart. They're dumb, but they're smart enough to move away from the heat.
Right.
So that's the idea, is that you put the heat on one side so that when they're hot, they can move. Now, if you have only a heated space or you have like a metal container, I was at the feed store last year and I walked in and she had chicks and then she had ducks. And the chickens were doing great. The little baby chicks were doing good. And she had some ducklings and they were gotten bigger. Well, she had this little skinny metal container and they were running back and forth and it was getting warmer in there. And the metal was just heating up because, they put them in those metal troughs.
Yeah.
Well, that would be
Mhm.
fine normally, but there was nowhere for them to run away. And when
Oh.
I saw them, they were actually ducks were panting. They were like,
Oh.
and I was like,
Oh,
no,
no.
ma'am. I actually went and I unplugged the light at the feed store.
Oh my
And
gosh,
I
Monica.
said, they don't need this. They're gonna die. They're gonna die. And I went to the front and I was like, hey, I just unplugged your heat lamp. And I told one of the kids in the back, I was like, I unplugged the heat lamp. They're gonna die. They're gonna burn up. So if you
Uh-oh.
want cooked duckling, just so you know. And they went and fixed it.
Not
But
good.
yeah, it was not okay. And I was like, hey, you don't want to do this, but they'll move away most of the time. If they have a space to move away, they will. I
Okay.
have baby ducks in my living room right now. And the chickens are the same. They will move away from the heat if it's too much.
Okay.
But we have both. I have the red lights and I have the radiant heat plates. Casey, you have the heat plates too.
Mhm.
You
And
do, Casey?
they work great.
Well,
Yeah.
how about, I just
They're
had a
expensive.
thought. Oh, yeah, they are expensive.
Yeah.
And so I'll probably still use my lamp,
Yeah,
but
the lamps are fine.
I wonder how, like I have those warming mats to start my seeds. I wonder how that would do.
I mean, what do you mean putting them underneath?
Uh-huh.
They're just going to poop all over them.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, it's going to work, right? It'll keep them warm. They'll be able to kind of lay there. But I think that, you're just going to warm their butts and, they still need something to kind of.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just stick
They're
with
just
the
going to
lamp.
poop all over it.
So Lisa wants to know how many at least do you need to start with? I know Tractor Supply will not sell less than 4. But Glenda says 3. If you can get some from a friend, they're pack animals, right?
Social.
They're so
Social. And so they need friends.
I always do 5. I always just start with 5. I say 5 just because it's a handful, but also you have a couple sacrificial ones. No offense to anybody out there that thinks I'm not killing them, but you will lose a couple. I
Right.
mean, you may not, you may have all 5, but the problem is if you only get 3 and then you lose 2,
Yeah.
now you're stuck looking for a lonely baby. So if you get 5 and you lose 1 or 2, you're still stuck with that good core 3, and a trio
Yeah.
works great together. So I always just say, grab a handful. grab a 5.
I learned from Monica, and I just fill up my incubator. When the incubator can't fit anymore, that's when I know I have enough.
I can't wait to incubate some eggs. I want to incubate some
Well,
eggs.
as we were saying that, me and Monica said we want to push people over. We actually had a full episode in season 5 where the 4 of us talked about incubating eggs. And
Yeah.
if you want to, if you're interested, because now is the time, y'all. Now is the time to get your eggs going, because there is a wait period. There is a period for you to hatch the chickens before they lay eggs,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
they're ready for meat. So you need to plan it out and February is the time. Me and
And
Monica were on the phone today Googling it, saying like
for you.
setting tasks for February. And the
Yeah.
two big things were chicks, getting your poultry ready for your homestead, and starting certain seeds. So
Well, that's because chicks now, so if you get chicks, most chickens will lay between, you're looking at that 16 to 24 week time period, 26 weeks sometimes, depending. It just really depends on what breed they are.
right,
6
That's 4 to 6 months, right?
Yeah, you're looking at 4 to 6 months. It just really depends on what breed they are. And how quickly you want eggs depends on what breed you get. And like Sandy said many times, where you live, you need to make sure you're getting the right breed for where you live too. Now, let's hope that
yeah,
the big box stores like Tractor Supply will carry breeds that are good for your area, but do not count on that. If you're looking for chicks, check your local feed stores or order from a hatchery where it says where they're going to be. Now, if you order from a hatchery, just be aware that they will always send you like an extra one. But if you order from a hatchery, just know too that when you order from a hatchery, have you guys all ordered from hatcheries before?
I've
Okay.
never.
So when you order from a hatchery, you put your order online and then they ship them. And the minute they get to that post office, you want to get there. You want to be there.
Yeah, they're calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what ours does.
yeah. They'll call you as
Oh,
soon as somebody's in there because all they hear is beep, beep.
chicks are usually, and also it's 24 to 48 hours because they're shipping day old chicks. So one
Yeah.
thing that I learned from incubating now, in my mind, I feel I'm an incubating genius, but I've only done it 4 times.
that's a lot.
That's good.
Well, not so. You have Sandy who's done it like 4 billion,
And
and
Monica, but see,
like
I've
4 billion.
never incubated eggs.
Oh,
Um,
it's such a great adventure. It
I just
really
think
is.
this is so cool.
it is a beautiful thing, and you get that. The most exciting part is when you get the first one that hatches.
Yeah.
You get it, and they're slimy and nasty and gross and wet looking, and you're like, okay, this is great. And then like an hour later, like they're gonna die. I need to open it up. Don't open it up, y'all. Do not
Yeah,
touch the
don't.
babies. Let them fluff up like little cute little chicken nuggets. And then really after they fluff up, it's 24 hours before they really have to have water or something. They suck up, Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong. It's like the membrane inside the eggs.
Yeah.
They have a special tooth that falls off once they hatch that pokes through the egg.
Mhm.
And then they eat up all this membrane. So they're good for 24 to 48 hours on nutrients that they need.
Mhm.
I'm
So the baby
learning
will be
so much.
shipped.
Yeah. Well,
And
when they ship also, they put this like little, it's like this little, I don't know, it's like this piece of like thing that's gotten water and like minerals and all the stuff in it. And they'll peck on that sometimes. A
yes,
lot of hatcheries put that little piece in there. So they'll have that. But don't be alarmed if you order chicks and you find one or two that are weak. But a lot of times hatcheries, really good hatcheries, ask your people, like ask people
Yeah.
that you know where they order from
Yeah, well,
because they'll
Glenda
tell you
said
the good ones.
she gets Meyer Hatchery, but not
There.
sponsored. And
Yeah.
then Nanny Tam says, I'm looking forward to starting over here. Probably not
Mhm.
this year. Lots of other projects. Meanwhile, my niece is supplying me with fresh eggs, thankfully.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, Wine Dots, Missouri Crooked Barn Homestead has been wonderful this evening and saying wine dots are great. They're really
Yeah.
cold hardy,
Mhm.
resist getting frostbite because they have small
Yeah.
cones, calm, dual purpose, and fantastic layers,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah, that's
And
Debbie. She used to live in Wyoming.
Oh,
And
that's
okay,
great.
we've met before.
Very nice.
how
Now, what
fun.
trees do y'all use? I know I'm not affiliated with this company, but I love Murray McMurray.
Me
Mhm.
too.
Ordered with
Yeah.
Murray McMurray, and they are great. If you have
Mhm.
anything that, again, like Monica said, they do send an extra chick usually.
Mhm.
And listen, you have to be prepared. If you open up the box when you get it, you may see um, a perished baby
Yeah.
chick. But and I've ordered twice from them. I have
Mhm.
never gotten one. I've never gotten a dead one. I've always
Yeah,
had the
me
extra
too.
ones, and they've always been healthy.
Yeah.
I
We
recommend Murray McMurray. Yeah.
we've ordered, I think I've ordered from both Meyer and Murray McMurray, and I wanna say it was Murray McMurray that I got my very first run of ducklings from.
Oh.
and they were great. And then the second time I ordered ducklings, I ordered like 10, and like 6 of them were dead or died within the first day.
Uh-oh.
And they were so amazing. They sent me another batch of ducklings to replace the ones, because they were specific. I had
Oh.
ordered blue Swedish and I wanted specific ducklings, and they were so fantastic to reship out the next shipment. So, and I told him, I said, I can't have them be 2 weeks from now. Like, I need it right now, or don't send it,
Yeah.
refund my money. Because
Right.
what I didn't want was for them to be too big. And they were
Right.
phenomenal to just work with me. So Meyer and both Murray McMurray have been amazing for both times. And I've ordered plenty of, I just do Barnyard mixes now, but I've ordered a lot of chicks and ducklings over the years. And
That's awesome.
yeah, both of them have been really good.
So, Ginger from Not for Nothing Homestead says, yes, don't lift the lid. The sudden vacuum of lifting the lid will reseal an egg. It might be in the middle of hatching and the chick could die. I don't want to kill my chicks. Oh my gracious. Oh my goodness. No, I don't want to do that. So, but that would be really hard if one is struggling. So,
And Sandy talked about it on the podcast.
I was going to
That
say, for
it's
Sandy.
Once they make that very first poke in the
Mhm.
egg, you're incubating eggs. It is completely normal for 12 hours to go by and no other crack.
Yeah,
has
they're
happened.
sleeping.
Mhm.
It's a
There's-
lot of energy. Yeah,
Mhm.
relax, go have a cup of coffee, enjoy your life. Come
Yeah.
back in about 24 hours, and you will see babies.
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking, Anne, especially for people like me who can't help but touch, because I am going to be honest with you. I'm a lid lifter.
I'm a
I'm a
button pusher,
toucher.
and I'm sure I would lift the lid.
I'm bad. I'm so bad about it. And if I see one and it's like not doing, I'm like, give it to me. I take it and I pull it out and I'm like dabbing it with water and I'm helping it. I mean, yeah, I'm bad. I have been doing better. I have been trying to keep my hands off and I pretend like they don't exist. And then I look and there's like 4 chicks in there. But the minute I see the first one hatch, oh, I'm horrible. I like pull it out. I'm like, happy birthday to you. And then I like put it back and then I'm really bad. I am a lid
learned
lifter.
from Lisa over at Yogi Hollow, and Lisa over at Yogi Hollow is big into the quarantine time. She does not want you to open the lid. I mean, she's hardcore. She's like, "Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Be."
And the naked gardeners are in here. Hello, hello, Paul Case Farms.
I was also just talking about y'all that I
You
was.
are so funny. I'm just crazy about you. Yep. And I've got a sweatshirt on, y'all. It's chilly here.
It is chilly here.
And I
It's
see
62 here.
it's what?
62.
That's chilly
Okay.
for you.
It is.
In
And you got a
Arizona.
sweater on.
Oh yeah, but I was outside. I had to go over to neighbors, and I just never took the sweater off. So
Okay.
Miss
Okay.
Lynn's here from the official Ann Lynn show. Welcome in.
Fantastic. We really appreciate all of you being here so much. All right. So let me recap because I have questions. We have the little baby chicks that we get from the store that are so cute. We bring them home. We need what, Sandy? We need
you need food, you need
Mhm.
water, you need it to be a certain temperature. They have to stay warm. They don't want to be hot. If they get too hot, they'll move away. They'll come back. But and I think you got to kind of be careful not to handle them so much when they're very, very first. I know it's hard because they're so cute, but I really think that you will have healthier chicks if you don't handle them so much. Wait
Yeah.
till
really.
and I know it's tough. If you're incubating, watch the stores like Tractor Supply. Some places online they'll have incubators on really good sales. Like at our Tractor Supply in Wyoming, they sell chicks in the fall time too. I don't know if all of the Tractor Supplies do that. So if you have space and where the chicks can live the whole winter, they're ready to lay when it gets springtime.
Right.
And so I think you just have to look and see what works for you and just say, okay, I don't have chicks. I want chicks. Look for your regulations. If you're on outside of the city, you don't really have to worry. Where I live in Wyoming, I can have 5. You know, they had to come out and see where the chicks were going to live before they give you a certificate that you can have
Oh.
chicks. You know, just know what's appropriate for your area.
There's a question here. How long does it take for a chick to mature in the egg? How long do they have to incubate?
21 days
Mhm.
is chickens. There's most incubators that you get will have a book that comes with it
Right.
that says, for chickens, for turkeys, for ducks, that kind of stuff. But chickens are 21 days. I did learn that, and I remember writing that down in my notes when I listened to our podcast. But I just wanted to say, because we're talking about egg layers, because we talked about how it's usually about 16, 24 weeks
Right.
for egg layers. Another thing that people should start now is if you're thinking about meat chickens for your family, now is a good time because you want to plan. Now, if you're getting Cornish cross, you have to get that from a hatchery. It's not Cornish cross are not the ones that you can, hatch the eggs yourself. You have to get it from the hatchery. So you can plan out. Start February saying, okay, 8 weeks, 8, 9 weeks for these birds. How many 8, 9 week segments can I do throughout the 365 days of the year, so I know how many chickens I need? But seeing Tori and Sydney in the chat, I'm thinking, I'm an American breast person now. I
Ooh.
them. I'm actually going to be sending Ann Dale some. So Ann Dale is going to be having some American. That's spoiler alert. But they are 16, 17 weeks until they're really, and this is all information that I got from Sydney because I know he's the one in the chat.
Yeah, the naked gardeners.
Yeah, he said right there, it's a good dual-purpose bird, heritage breed. If you're a good homestead, get off of the hatcheries list.
Oh, yeah, get off their list.
Well,
Yeah.
we always talk about being self-sustainable, and I mean that's one thing is you truly are not self-sustainable if you're still relying on hatcheries to produce your meat birds.
I'm a little nervous about meat birds, just because we're not supposed to have but 4 per lot. Now I have 4 lots, so that means I can have 12 chickens.
Yeah.
But
I promise you, I did the Cornish cross. I did it all last year.
a little
I did
nervous
32.
about that.
They do not make a lot of noise. Now, do they chase your feet when you feed them? Do they smell? Are you ready at week 9 for them to go meet Jesus? Yes. Completely.
Oh, okay, you are?
Yes.
Because like for 8
Yes,
to 9
you are
weeks,
not. You are not snuggling them, Ann. You are not like, oh, little baby. No, you're like, you
Yes.
are nasty. You have no meat. I mean, you have no hair, like feathers. There is no feathers on their breast. They
ew.
be walking and dragging themselves. They're like
Cornish cross, not the American breast. The American breasts are actually beautiful. Mine now are 21 weeks, I think, and they just started laying. They are big, good, solid birds. They are about the same size as Cornish cross at about 9 weeks. They are tame. You can walk in. They don't really swarm you for food. But I told Monica a funny story. So it's very muddy in Georgia right now, and we all know for eggs to be fertile, you have to have a rooster and you have to have hens. It's just how it works, y'all. Y'all can
For them to be fertile.
Fertile. You can still get eggs, but for fertile eggs, you need a boy and a girl. And for those that have seen how a boy and a girl chicken fertilize, they know what I'm talking about. I came home to muddy footprints on all of my American breast girls' backs.
Uh-oh.
And it was just their backs. It was like chicken footprints, like pressed on all of them. It was.
Oh my gosh. Well,
it was very funny.
What do y'all suggest? I am a little nervous also about getting roosters when you hatch your own eggs, because we are not allowed roosters here, and someone would report me.
Just eat them. When they crow, you eat them. That's the answer. If you hear it crow, you eat it.
And I learned that also once your eggs are fertilized, meaning the rooster has done its thing, it's a week for those all of those eggs that you get from a week from that hen will be fertilized. Now,
Huh.
I could just be reading into it, Sandy. Let me know if I'm putting out false news. But I read that it's usually 7 days once you physically see the rooster mount the hen and finish. They have to finish.
They
Uh,
don't start growing
because
till
sometimes my rooster falls off. But if they finish, those eggs are fertile for that 7 days. So then you can eat the rooster and you still have fertile eggs to go forward. That's my
Sandy, oh, is that right? Because he's
Well,
asking you.
well, I think that is true. There's different articles that say that the eggs are fertile for different amounts of time. You know,
Uh-huh.
because it's like they're not going to be fertile forever. You
no.
know, it's
Right.
just a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
And from different articles I've read, sometimes different chickens it can affect on how long they're fertile for.
Yeah.
So
They don't, Jesse. They
you
don't.
always candle your eggs,
Yes.
when you're doing your incubating anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Well, I
gosh.
think that it's good to know that too, though, that the eggs will stay fertile once you have an established flock. If you have a rooster and something happens to your rooster and he passes, then you have those eggs that from those girls that will be fertile for the next week. And that's what I had
Okay.
heard before. That's so what I did was I lost my rooster. I had 4 girls, 1 rooster. He passed away trying to defend my flock, lost one of the girls in the process. And so I had 3 of the girls left. I took those eggs from those 3 girls and I was able to incubate and hatch them and have a rooster from the same original roux. And that's what I wanted because he was a mean somebody, but he
Uh-oh.
was a really good roux. He died literally protecting his flock. Like
Oh,
he
okay.
went out fighting. We never found him. We found all his trail of feathers
Mm, mm,
fighting
yeah.
to go. So we knew he fought because we saw the everywhere all over the pasture. So we knew he went out like a good one. So needless to say, I took those eggs and I incubated them. And so I got a rooster several from him, which was what I wanted. So that's a lot of times people will do that. So if you have it, but I say if you get a rooster out of your mix and you don't want roosters, you can't have roosters, either you gift them to somebody because people always like roosters, or you eat them. If you can't eat them, gift them away.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean,
I mean, they're
it's
just as
silly.
good in the stew pot as any other bird.
Okay. Because I mean, we played with our chickens a lot when they were little babies, and it'll put them on the back of the dog and let them walk around, and all those kinds of crazy things. We just had fun, little chicken poop here and there, but we had a good time. So, Sandy, will you guide us? All right, we have the incubator. Put
Yes,
the eggs in there. 21 days until they hatch
basically. Hmm.
around here or there, and then we get our babies, and we need a place to put them, the bedding, the heat, the food, the water.
Yep.
And then how long do they have to grow before they start producing eggs? Ours were like 12 weeks before we put them in with the big girls. But how long do they need to grow? Because we had some big chickens, and introducing the baby chicks to the big chickens is a big deal.
Well, there's some tricks though you can do. Like some people will, you have your coop area, and once the babies have feathers and it's warm out, they can go outside. You know, so some people will put just a wire fence for a while so they get used to it. I've seen people that have taken big dog kennels.
That's what we did. We have
Put
great big giant dog
the
kennels.
ones that you're introducing in there so that the chickens are walking all around, but they can't hurt them, you know? And depending on your chickens, some of them are very nice when you're introducing. Sometimes that is not the case. And you just have to, you have to know your chickens. And sometimes until they're big enough to defend themselves, you can't put them together.
Yep.
Right.
So you just have to know your chickens. But I think most chickens are pretty sweet. Especially if you're always around your chickens and people are touching your chickens, they're a little more accepting.
Yeah.
To let those new chickens come in.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
just watch. If there seems to be issues, they're aggressive, take them away. Like Debbie right now is, she's saying that they have 4 coops, and
Mm-hmm.
she's letting them. But when on my grandma's farm, my grandma had a little brooder house. She
Yep.
let them get
Right.
their feathers all on there, and then she started letting them go into. But it was a farmyard,
Mhm.
The
Right.
mama could protect them, and so that is a little bit different when you're
Yeah,
just
it is.
using chicks.
Mhm.
You don't got a mama to protect them.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Though I have seen people with that, their dogs like their chickens, and they will protect those little babies when you
Yeah.
first put
Mhm.
them in there.
Mhm.
And
Oh, my little brownie just does not acknowledge their existence. He just totally ignores them entirely. Like they are not here. They're not taking my attention. But I
Another
mean,
trick to introducing them is putting them in there at nighttime. I know a lot of times that's something that I
okay,
do. As soon as my girls go to bed, I take the new
yep,
ones and I shove them in there and I shut the door. And then I'm like, have fun. And then in the morning, it's like survival of the fittest. Whoever
yep.
comes out in the morning comes out.
But
oh,
it's also because I learned from you, Monica, that there's always going to be a pecking order.
Yeah. I
mhm,
never lost one doing it that way, by the way.
You
Just
have
so you
to
know.
let
good.
your girls get the pecking order in.
Yeah.
They have to know who is the boss, who's that they are low on the totem pole. And
Right.
once they get that, it usually took for me 1 to 2 days that I was watching hardcore, and then all of them are like homies. They're all homies now, but they know their place.
Well, I think it's also important to remember the spacing that you have. Because
Mhm.
Right.
here's the thing, if you have a bunch of really great chickens, but you're only keeping them in a space that's big enough for those 5 really great chickens, and then you try to introduce 5 more really great chickens into a coop that's
Yeah.
only going to hold 5, they're going to fight.
Right.
Right?
Mm,
It's just like throwing a bunch
Right.
of school kids in a classroom that's only meant for 10 kids. You can't be
right.
having 20 kids in that classroom and expect them to get along. It's
Huh.
they're just like that. So if you have a space big enough, you don't need to worry. And I think that's probably why I've never had a trouble because mine free range all day. So I put them in the coop at
Oh,
night. They sleep. They live their best life. Then in the morning, I say, wake up, let's go. And then they can go anywhere they want, all over 10 acres. They have free range. So I don't have enough chickens to be in a small space. But if you have chickens in a small space, don't overload it or they will peck on each other. They will be
mm,
mean. They will kill each other. So
mm.
know your space. That's really important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because see, there's 2 schools of thought, right? With the babies, and I had when I went to go purchase the new chicks, I saw a girl beside me picking out a waterer or an incubator or
Mhm.
something, some kind of chick supplies, and she said, "Just so you know, don't ever put your baby chicks in with the big chickens. I'm just telling you." And she said she had some kind of, like, mass slaughter that happened.
Oh,
Well, yeah, the adults will take the baby chicks out. They're not nice like that. Now,
Yeah, all the
sometimes
babies
if
were
you have
gone.
sometimes though, if you have there's some tricks to this. If you have a broody mama and she is incubating eggs, or if you have bantams, just so you know, the bantams are the little tiny chicks,
Yeah.
chickens. Those smaller breeds, the bantams, are notorious for being great mamas. Now,
Mhm.
we have a little bantam that was in with 2 other bantams. My son was raising them and we had 3 baby chicks that hatched out of a full grown mama hen. And I said, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I took those baby chicks. We put them in with this bantam girl. She's not a mama. She wasn't laying on eggs. And I was praying that they would be okay together because they were not really full, but not really. I mean, they're just smaller together.
Yeah.
She took them right under her wings and now she thinks they're their mom. They are the
Okay.
same size as this full grown bantam right now, and they're still chicks, but she loves them like they're the mama. So sometimes you can take bantams, the baby, the smaller breeds, and put baby chicks with the mamas or the broodier ones if they have those tendencies. If
Yeah.
they're laying on eggs, you pull the eggs and you throw some babies in there and they will accept them.
mhm.
But
Mm.
it's real tricky and you got to do it at night. You got to be smart about it. But anytime you do that, you risk loss. So
Mhm.
just be aware. There's
Yeah.
you always risk that loss. So just protect your heart when you do that.
We were a little nervous when we opened the
Protect your
door the
heart.
next day,
Yeah.
but hey, everybody came out, or at least the big chickens came out, and the little ones were up on the roost like, I don't think I can get out yet. This is kind of freaky. So,
I wasn't told I could leave yet.
yeah, that's right. Well, everyone, it has been a wonderful night. I think that we have covered the supplies and the way to get through and around our egg crisis. It does take 4 to 6 months, 16 to 24 weeks to be able to have a chicken that will actually lay for you.
Yeah.
And they only lay one egg a day, right? I'm right with that.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I was pretty sure.
Yep.
I was pretty sure.
Now, I will say here's a tip for anybody really quick too. If you're going to get babies, if you get baby chicks and you start off with this great organic feed or whatever you're doing, the chick starter, whatever you're doing, just remember that sometimes chicks struggle. And if you see chicks starting to struggle, you maybe lose one or you lose two, and you see the little sticky butt or the pasty butt, things are happening. There's always a possibility that you need some medicated feed. I know people are like, medicated, but it's okay. When you give them, sometimes if you give them medicated feed for the first week or two, when they're really little, it for some reason, it helps their system. I don't know, but I will say that I've saved batches
I'll do the person, Monica. I'll be the person. I use medicated feed always for the first 2 weeks of their life.
It's just the first 2 weeks. I don't always have it, but I don't always have it because I have ducks and I don't ever want to take a chance to give my ducks the medicated by accident, because ducklings, it will kill your ducks. It will kill your ducklings. But I will get medicated and keep a little bag on hand so that if I start to lose one or two, I will give them medicated feed for the first week or two, and I will finish that little bag off. And then I move on to the regular organic feed or whatever else, because for some reason that just really gets them going and it helps their system, because sometimes they come from a place, or sometimes there's a lot of things, and I've experienced loss. And so I have done it, and not everybody's agreeing, and that's okay. But I've done it to save my flock, because these are hens. These are, the ones I want to lay eggs eventually. So yeah.
Oh, and Naked Gardener says the best way we found to decrease pasty butt is to only give water for the first 2 hours after they hatch until the last one hatches.
Yeah.
And then you introduce
That's
the
a good
feed.
trick.
That's a great trick.
Also, I've gotten apple cider vinegar. If you put that in the water, it really does help with coccidiosis.
Yeah.
To make sure.
I'm just thinking if you go to Tractor Supply and you get them, sometimes they come to you and they're not the healthiest, because they've maybe whatever the environment they've been in. I think that's when I've only really experienced loss with baby chicks when I've gotten them from other places. When I've hatched my own, I usually don't have that much trouble. But when I've had to buy that medicated or keep it is usually when I've gotten them from other places. So
Okay.
just be aware.
And Jessica says, this was fun. It was fun for me too. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. We have Ormsby Farms, Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona, and Bland's Promised Land Ranch, and me, and Dale Homestead. And we'll see you again very soon. We're getting ready to start our weekly podcast up real soon that will be on everywhere that you can find podcasts, as well as all of our YouTube channels. So thank you. You guys have a great night. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Hey, Monica, did you know it's now even easier to listen to Around the Hay Bale podcast?
What? Really? How easy?
That's right. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play Round the Hay Bale podcast.
Playing Round the Hay Bale podcast on Apple Music.
Ooh, we're really fancy now.
Tune in to Round the Hay Bale every Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time.